What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Olivia's off tonight. It's going to be, it's supposed to be Leroy, but Leroy's off. Then Olivia's going to be here. Then Olivia's off, so it's me. I know. Hopefully you're not disappointed. And if you are, tough shit. Craziness going on in the world. What's new? I mean, come on. Did anyone expect anything less with liberals? Oh, January 6th, January 6th. Oh, it was worse than Pearl Harbor. It was worse than the Holocaust. It was worse than 9/11. And they are just falling right in line with what we know about leftists. They don't get anything done without violence. This is what they do. They're violent people, just angry. What's new? Not a big shock. We're going to talk about USAID. It's important. Talk about some of that money, where it's going, where it comes from. We'll go ahead and bring you all that. We're going to talk about the tariffs, what happened with Canada, some transgender stuff. Tell you about the odds of every kid you know being a transgender kid, because odds are important. Numbers, folks. We were going to do something else. Let's see. Oh, give us Elon, or give us death. Give us Elon. Because, I don't know, political assassinations or setting up your opponent for jail time isn't good enough. Now we got to go ahead and go try to take out Elon's life. Yeah, that's gonna work out well for him. Be right back in 3 seconds. Got a good show. Share it. Get it out there. Tina, just read the message, man. Get better. Let me know what's going on. Keep us informed. Love you. One of the things that I hear most often, that I always try to help people connect the dots, is what is past is prologue. And although Shakespeare, not my favorite, it's an interesting thing when you look at 1980 and the crack epidemic. Hey, Twitter people, help us out. Get it shared over on Twitter, please. Thank you. And what the United States government was involved in with the Contras.
No kidding.
So I don't understand why people are so shocked and they call Roseanne a conspiracy theorist. Because there's evidence in the past of the government getting involved in this, and there's plenty of books on this, and you can read this.
Here's what I think. I love your show, by the way, Matt Spear, and
Thank you, ma'am.
Just discovered you about a week ago,
ma'am.
Oh my God, this guy's a genius. The facts he can spew.
God, I love you.
You can spew fact, and that's the sign of a genius.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I appreciate you asking me that.
So
And
you just made
I
my
do
life.
remember back when they were bringing the crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods, and that proved that the CIA was doing it
Yes,
because
ma'am.
they were grooming that population, and they've been.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I have some advice for you before we even get started. If you are of age, 65, whatever, or 60 or 50, honestly, whatever age you are, I'm gonna put a link up here for you. And here it is. If you go to www.ssa.gov and you want to make sure you go on the secure side, /myaccount/statements.html. A lot of people have no idea what their Social Security payout is going to be. And I recommend that everybody do it. It's important. And I went and I looked, and here's why. And it's not because I'm concerned that Elon Musk is stealing our information. He's going to take all of our Social Security dollars. Ridiculous. Of course not. I don't feel that. A billionaire needs, honestly, he probably has more money liquid than the Social Security does completely. But you should go and get your statement. Photocopy it. Save a digital PDF. Print it. Put it in your safe. Safety deposit box, whatever you got. So you have a copy, and you should update that every year. If you're already of Social Security age, you get this statement, and don't ask for a wireless statement. Ask for a paper statement. And the first thing that they're going to ask you when you sign in is, do you want to go ahead and get my my statement digitally or paper? And you should choose both. Get them both. And here's why, is because Social Security has been essentially bankrupt and in arrears for the last 32 years. And the reason why is our government lent against it. And a lot of people go, well, I paid into it. So it's not a subsidy, or it's not a welfare system. It actually is. And I'll explain why. And I get a lot of shit for this. People get upset. They get mad. I paid into it. They owe me. Yeah. We know that. But this is the U.S. government, and they don't care. So you understand it's supposed to be pay into it. And then when you come of age, of retirement age, you receive a stipend or a reimbursement based upon your lifetime earnings that's calculated. Like mine, if I retire at 67, mine's like $3,900 a month. I'm really close, like the max you can get. I think I max out most of my Social Security like in month 8 or 9. And that's every job I've had. But I've also had some really high paying jobs. So like my Social Security nest egg is set. I'm not going to add any more to it. There's really nothing else I can do. I just leave it like it is, and it will have cost of living and COLA adjustments done to it and all that, if there's anything left. I think when I'm 70 years old, it goes up to like 42 or 4,300. And I think I've capped out at like 4,900 a month, which is a lot of money. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's a lot of money. Do I expect to see a penny? No. But I also want to make sure I have a statement. So if I go after the U.S. government for this money, which we're all going to have to at some point, because it's been bankrupt. And a lot of people say, well, it's not. It's paid for by American people. No, it's not. And the reason why is because this is a great plan for the short term, but it's not necessarily a great plan for cost of living adjustment. Because what a dollar was worth in 1960 is not the same thing now. And when you have people at that retirement age from the 60s and 90s right now who invested money Well, their COLA adjustment goes up, but the overall valuation and the net worth of their dollar has gone down because of inflation and devaluation of the dollar. So the system is constantly going into arrears. Not only that, the US government borrowed against it. And everyone goes, well, the government doesn't. Actually, the government most assuredly does. Short night for me making peanut butter cookies. Love you all. Thanks, Bobby. Bobby's in with our first donation. I forgot to, I just got right into the show. The goal's 300 tonight and $51.99. Immediately, Miss Bobby has contributed. Thank you, Bobby. We love you and appreciate you. And you guys can do that at thedumbshow.com/donate. Make sure you put a little message in there because we'll read it. And Olivia is watching. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this, but the U.S. government, we're in A block. B block's over. Starting A block. We're going right into it tonight. So the U.S. government has used security bonds to fund Social Security for a better part of the last 30 plus years. And Matt, whoever has the link, can someone copy that and put it in for Matt, Matt Murray? I might still have it. Hold on. Yep, I do. There it is. If you're military, you can sign up with ID.me. And I recommend you guys sign up for ID.me. If you're military, you can get your DD-214, your government statements, your paperwork. You get your discounts, military discounts, all that stuff. ID.me. Go sign up. But anyway, so they sell bonds, and the United States government sells bonds to themselves for billions and billions of dollars, and then uses the federal budget to pay for these bonds, which then funds Social Security. They're not telling you this. They're not telling you this. No, they borrowed. They didn't steal it. They borrowed. And what they're doing is stealing from you because your taxes are paying for it again, what they stole. And the overall inflation and the over depreciation of the dollar is all being paid for you in your taxes. So they have a middleman, and it's the bonds. So they can literally say, oh, we're not funding Social Security. We're not using the federal budget to do this. We just go ahead and invest billions of dollars in bonds and then go ahead and reimburse ourselves for what we borrowed against Social Security. That's the trick. So it's not going to last. Okay? It's not going to be here more than likely for my generation. So I would encourage you, if you have not had a chance, go to this URL. It's floating around in chat if you haven't seen it. Olivia and the mods will put it in there. ssa.gov, my account /statement.html. And when you're in there, you're going to sign up or create an account. You're going to put in your information. Make sure you're on the secure. And all you need to do is if you see HTTPS, you're secure. And that's got like 128 megabits of encryption, and no one's going to hack you. Put that in there and find out your statement. It'll tell you how much you're expected to make when you're 62. If you go out early, which you can file early, what you'll make at 67, which is on time, 70, 72, all the way up. And you'll see COLA adjustments and things to that effect. But the longer you live, the more you get to take out. And my ass is going to try to live till 95 and screw the government and make them pay me more than I paid in. That's my goal. So that's why, taking care of the body and lifting and stuff. So this is why you guys needed to look at this. So get a snapshot of it. Know what you're supposed to make. So when you have to take the U.S. government to court, which we will, they're going to have to settle based upon this. So I would do it every year. The other thing you should do is with your homeowner's insurance is you should just take a video of all your rooms in your house. And honestly, with the ability to slow down, it doesn't have to be really serious. Just go in and scan the room. And that way, if God forbid there's a flood or a fire or something like that, you have this to adjust against your insurance claim if something happens. Just two good food for thought type things that I took care of. And you should do the same thing. Bobby says, I'm 40 credits short, so I have to work until I'm 100. I'll just tell you, like Social Security for me, my parents' Social Security was nothing. It was horrible, but my mom and dad didn't make a lot of money. I've been fortunate enough to make very good, and this is exciting because to see that much in Social Security. And I'm essentially retired right now. I mean, I live off the show, and Olivia has a job, and then I've got other income from military service and stocks and things like that. But ultimately, this is my job. So when I hit 62, I'm going to file for retirement. But not everyone can do that. And I was just fortunate enough to make over the cap on most of my career, and my Social Security is set. I'm done. I don't need to worry about that anymore. So now I need to focus on other things like IRA and health insurance accounts and making smart investments and things that. So all of those things I'm trying to do. Now it's tough because the show provides that. So just always have some thoughts, always have some ideas of where you're going to be, and constantly looking at where you're going to be when you hit the silver age, because I'm right around the corner. I'm 51. I'm 11 years from 62. That's insane to me. And obviously, I'm not going to retire until 67 or plus, but I will file early at 62. So you got to prepare for this, especially with what's going on. Now that we've done that, let's move on from here. If everyone's got their Constitution, we talk about this book all the time. It's a Dumb Show exclusive. This is very similar to the Documents of Freedom, which you see right over there, which is our wooden Documents of Freedom. It comes with the Bill of Rights, the Declaration, and the Constitution. This is a new book by Applewood Arcadia, which provides the Smithsonian and the Library of Congress with their Constitution copies. Everyone's seen something very similar to this. It's small. This is the big version, 144 pages. It's got a beautiful inlay, as you can see, beautiful deep blue. It's got a copy of the Constitution, biographies in the back, and a full list of all the amendments and the actual Constitution. 100%. Every single word is right here. Gold inlay, leather bound. It's beautiful. Exclusive to the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's over on thedumbshow.com. We use this often in the show. We go to it, we talk and go, okay, we'll go to page whatever. And the reason why we do that is because we have to make sure that we're using the law as our filter along with facts. Last thing right here, 219,218. We have, that's right, 9,200 followers in the last, I think it's like 3 days. Like the site just blew up. So we're excited about that. All right, let's get to it. Do me a favor, share on Twitter, and let's make this happen. We got a lot to do tonight. Tina, God bless you. I love you. I hope you're okay. Tina is a huge part of our show. Where do I want to start? JD says, because it's Taco Tuesday, $18.01. Thank you, JD. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for taking care of us. I'm going to start off with sanctions and tariffs and Canada and Mexico and what's happened there. Now, the liberal talking point, and as we all do, we touch on the liberal, what they're saying. They're saying that Donald Trump caved. The funds are being stolen. Well, I did explain it, and if you want to say it that way, that's fine. That's semantics. No, they're not, because America isn't upset enough. They are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's covered in the cloak and the guise of the budget. And Americans should be pissed. They should be upset. They are stealing, but it's not illegal because nobody makes a stink about it. So if enough people will say something, maybe we can figure it out. Scott Jennings was on CNN, and the liberals are saying this, that because Donald Trump did not actually apply tariffs, that his tariff policy failed. That Mexico just gave him exactly what Mexico was already going to give them. And Justin Trudeau just gave Trump exactly what he was going to give Trump, and Trump fell for it. And Trump's stupid. So let's talk about reality. Okay? There's a couple things you need to know that I'm going to give you some information. And I need you to hear me on this. It's not the tariffs that Mexico's scared of. Mexico already committed to putting 10,000 of their finest National Guardsmen on the border, but they didn't do it. So you can promise all you want, but if you don't do it, Joe Biden didn't do shit. So yes, he got a verbal confirmation, but there is a difference between a commitment and action. So when we're talking about Mexico, there's a couple things we need to understand. One is it's not the tariffs. Two, Mexico has said that they're going to put the 10,000 there, and Trump gave them 30 days or it's game on. But that's not the big concern. The big concern, and I want you guys to do me a favor, is I'm not going to be so stupid as to say, hey, keep this on the down low, because when you just literally impacted 20 million people on this site, and maybe the show doesn't have that much, but trust me, people read the site. I'm not going to be dumb enough to say, oh, well, just keep this a secret. It's between you and me. By the way, 26 people on Twitter. That's not enough. Come on, people. Help me out on Twitter. So I'm not going to sit there and do that, but I would appreciate it if we kind of keep this between the show, you, and I, if that's ever so possible. So planes have been a huge topic over the last couple of 7-10 days, as we know. But there's also something interesting that took place, is that there was a plane, United States Air Force, very similar to a KC-135, but not quite. KC-135 is a refueler, but KCs also have some other modifications to it that they can use for different various AORs and missions. And one thing I've noticed is that there is a lot of activity in Baja California. And through La Paz, Las Michas, and through the Tropic of Cancer line down Baja and around, there is a United States Air Force, I'll just give it to you, as an RC-135 Victor. And its particular job is to do carefully say signals intelligence, something I know just a little bit about. Leroy knows. If Leroy was on tonight, this would be great. So why would a United States Air Force plane be identified as a SIGINT intelligence collection plane, be flying patterns in one of the most heavily trafficked areas for the Mexican cartel? How do I know this? This at one point may have been an AOR responsibility of mine. Karen says, cartel is heavy in Baja, isn't it? So when it comes to intelligence acquisition, there's several steps. There is something called strike. By the way, if anybody put in donations, Olivia is going to go take a quick shower. So she is not going to have a chance. So please don't feel discouraged. It'd be great to give her a massive surprise when she comes back. So if you would not mind. So when you're looking at strike, which is an intelligence classification, something that I took a C school in, is you have different stages to go after C4. So when you look at C4, that essentially means the various levels of ability for a foreign government or military to communicate effectively with a chain of command. And when you look at C4, command, control, computers, etc., command, control, communications, and computers, your first thing that you do in strike is how to eliminate C4 in order to successfully penetrate the government's defenses to eliminate their fast response and control their secondary response before they can essentially spin up or move to a state of readiness. So in strike, our job is to identify the soft targets, and the first stage of strike is signal intelligence gathering. You want to establish the communication of your enemy. You want to go ahead and identify how they're communicating, whether it's by walkie-talkie, whether it's by satellite phone, whether bouncing it off some birds, whether it's a closed-loop system, whatever it would be, military-type communication or Chinese or Russian-style ham radio, whatever it is. Sometimes they use Xboxes and PS5s. I mean, we found that during after 9/11, a lot of the terrorists were communicating through video game chats and IRC chats and things to that effect. But the only reason to have that bird flying in Baja California is to do signals intelligence, electronic intelligence, and get as much location targeting as you possibly can. Talk about Gaza in a second. So when I look at Flight Tracker and I watch Flight Tracker constantly, and I'm really only looking for one or two things, usually three, because you're not going to find military like jets on there, F-22s, F-35s, et cetera, et cetera. You're not going to find bombers on there, but you will find Air Force, KC class. You might find an Osprey or two. You find some Helos, but most of high altitude stealth aircraft, you're not going to see. But anything that's non-stealthy is pretty much on there. Air Force One's on there from time to time, but it's usually reported later at a very high delay. So when I look for an aircraft like this, and I see an RC-135, I immediately start asking questions. Now, some of this is routine. But it's not just the collection, it's the flight pattern of the collection. Most assuredly, the United States is doing target acquisition on cartel members. And they're using signal intelligence coupled with high altitude reconnaissance, satellite reconnaissance, drone ISR, and human intelligence on the ground. This is most assuredly prelude to war. War in the sense of not Congress declaring war or not sending troops on the ground, at least from a black pajama situation, operators going in. But I believe what you're going to see is high altitude, middle to low altitude drones and Reapers making some very surgical strikes on cartel leadership. And this is the only way to prosecute this battle. It's to do it from high altitude with no risk to U.S. troops, surgical strikes based on human intelligence, signals intelligence, electronic intelligence, radar intelligence, everything else, and to eliminate the HVTs with the cartel indiscriminately. And my opinion is that this will begin Friday. I have it on very good source that by this Friday, we should start getting some data that will tell us that HVTs have been eliminated in the war on the now labeled terrorist organization, the Mexi cartel. Yeah, Joanne, but when someone says they're going to do something and then I actually have physical evidence of it, I like to brag. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So Mexico doesn't care about tariffs. Mexico cares that the United States is about ready to declare war on the cartel, and they are in a much better position by getting along with the United States government and pretty much paying whatever they want so they can eliminate and eradicate the problem, which is literally like the ninth most largest standing army in the world is the Mexican cartel. They are extremely large. They are well funded. They understand jungle warfare. And if I was to go ahead and compare the cartel to anybody on the face of the earth at one point or another, it would definitely be the Viet Cong. So you are going to see degradation of the following on the cartel. You're going to see that their drug manufacturing capabilities are going to be limited. First, the command and control units, being able to talk and communicate with the different assets spread out all along Mexico. They're going to eliminate that form of communication that they possess. They're going to force them to use secondary communication that the United States already has access to make it easier to find them, because that's what you do. You take out the obscure communication, you put in a common practical application like cell phones, and then you got them right where you want them. Because they're going to have to go to a common application, because we're going to eradicate any of the small obsolete forms of communication that aren't necessarily looked at. That's why we've got signals intelligence in the area. Once you limit their communications and you get them on a place that you want to, that you're really buggering them. The next is going to be command and control infrastructure strikes, which will be manufacturing, which will be ammo depot, safe houses that they've had from a human intelligence standpoint, anything that allows them to defend or go on the offense in this capacity. And then you'll see HVTs, high value targets. These will be, I believe, drones, and you will be bringing down hellfires on top of their heads. And you may see some people go outside the wire to engage certain targets with the permission of the Mexican government. This is going to be heavy, and it's about time. James says the Viet Cong was never defeated. The cartels are defeatable. No, but defeatable. Yeah, that's a word. If winnable's a word, defeatable has to be a word. Defeated, defeat, defeatable. Yeah, defeatable's a word. Yeah, but Viet Cong weren't defeatable or unable to be defeated, probably more accurate, because of any ridiculous skill set. It's that the rules of engagement were fucking ridiculous, right? Viet Cong would go over an imaginary border, get into a firefight, and then jump across, and we couldn't engage. So the Viet Cong, we beat ourselves in Vietnam. The cartel has a lot of numbers, a lot of ammunition, and a lot of power. And they're very similar to Viet Cong when it comes to how they're dug in and how they use the jungle. But they also are very much maligned with terrorists because they use fear, and they have no problem with dying. They would rather stay alive, but they don't believe in surrender, and they will absolutely go down with a fight. We are going to talk about tariffs. We're talking about Mexico first. And this is a part of tariffs, Sandy. So this is something you just need to understand. So Mexico doesn't care about tariffs right now. They don't give a shit. They're going to put the 10,000 on the border like they should have, like they promised and didn't. And that's the difference between a promise and something that's actionable. Because Trump has said, if you don't put them on the border, in 30 days, we're going to throw the tariffs right back on. And this time they're going to double. So he got what he wanted, which is to secure the border from the north so we can focus. And I guarantee the trade-off is for that to take place, for Mexico to protect the southern border, the United States has to prosecute a conflict with the Mexican cartel. And I think it's going to be fine. Good. Second, Anyone that says that Donald Trump didn't win this with Mexico are also the same people that said that he didn't win with USMCA versus NAFTA, or that Mexico didn't pay for the wall. Mexico most assuredly paid for a wall. He created a surplus of $72 billion against the deficit with Mexico. I think that could pay for the wall about 100,000 times over, okay? So don't give me any shit that Mexico didn't write a check for the wall. They most certainly did, and 500 miles of it, mind you, not what the liberals say, that it was 20 miles, which is a lie. Some of it didn't need to be replaced. It needed to be refurbed, and they did over 500 miles. Thank you very much. So anyone that sits here and says that Trump didn't win this, it is a win, because his ultimate goal wasn't to, go ahead and get a couple of mariachi bands and some white label tequila with the worm buried. His goal was to have them take fentanyl and illegal crossings and foreign nationals coming in of military age into our country, and to stop the trafficking. By putting 10,000 troops in Mexico and creating a demarcation line across the border, and us now having National Guardsmen and bringing the Marine Corps down there, I think we're to be okay. So he got what he wanted. Okay. So now we understand what happened with Mexico. And like I said, the people that are complaining about this and pontificating and whining and crying, the reason why they're doing this is because no matter what Trump does, Orange Man bad. That's it. Orange Man bad. That's it. That's all they think about. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about the details. It is what it is. So there's your heads up. Now, I also will tell you that I saw a few other planes in the area. One of them is an E-2C Hawkeye, which does, it's essentially a giant airborne early warning system. It's electronic warfare. It has the ability to jam. It also has the ability to go ahead and be like a mini NORAD in the area. It will scan for certain types of aircraft, IFF transponders, and things to that effect. There's also a P-8 in the area, which runs maritime operations. It's also a sub-killer. It's called the Poseidon. It's made by Boeing. It's a little bit older. But we're starting to use naval aircraft in that area. And that tells me, because the E-2C is a naval warcraft, and so is the P-8A Orion, but it's also used by Coast Guard and a few others, but it doesn't matter. The point is that we have naval aircraft coming down from San Diego tells me that I would anticipate an aircraft carrier parked off of Baja California on any day now. That is something that is going to make the cartel shit very, very quickly. Because you have absolutely a never-ending supply of conflict on a floating city that can indefinitely prosecute a war against the cartel. Something to think about. So now that we've done that, now everyone's okay with that, and we go, okay, well, so we're good against Mexico. There's a long way here. In order to weaken the cartel, the United States is going to have to get its hands dirty. It's going to have to get bloody. And good. It's time to treat them like they deserve to be treated, like ISIS. It's time for these gangs to go, let's get Mexico cleared, then we can start working on South America. And let's start eradicating these gangs from the planet. That's pretty much it. Let's do the same thing we did to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And Trump is also going to have his hands full with eliminating ISIS. And they are back, because even though you destroy the caliphate and you spread out ISIS, they did all go in through Europe, matriculated, and now they are reforming again. So you got to take them out too. So the United States has a plan for Mexico, and Donald Trump does. Now let's go to Canada. My good friend, my Canadian friends are flipping out. Not Mel and Thomas and others, but the liberals, the Ottawans, they are coming onto my page and you don't know shit about Canadian policy. Really? Well, I would disagree. And so I've been arguing with them incessantly on my page. And I will tell you, I don't know everything about Canadian politics, but I will tell you what, I've been schooled by some very smart people who have helped me understand it. And I think I have a pretty good grasp of where Canada is. But Scott Jennings had to go ahead and defend. And I'm going to tell you what Trump is doing against Trudeau, because this is what I'm good at. It's politics. Let's go ahead and listen to this, and then we will go ahead and talk about it. Here you go.
More in the past, or it was already announced in the past?
I disagree. First of all, I think the reason he did this is one simple phrase: behavior modification. He's trying to modify the behavior of our neighbors, and he's already having some success with these strategies. If you look at what he did with Colombia, if you look at what the news was over
Nothing happened with Colombia
They took the
either.
people.
Mexico,
If you look,
Canada.
if you
They
look,
were taking deportation flights.
I love this show.
No,
This is my favorite show. It's
Because
called
you're lying.
Let's all scream at
No,
Scott.
it's called informing our audience.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
Colombia
everybody.
was already
Hold on,
taking
Catherine.
deportation
Gotta
flights.
change the
No,
subject
I'm
to
not.
Colombia.
I'm wrapping it all
Let's go
together.
back-
It's all part of the same
Let's
thing.
go back to what Trump got for threatening a 25% tariff
Yeah.
on Mexico and Canada. What did he get?
On
Scott?
Mexico, he got a permanent set of troops, not temporary, just during surges. He got permanent troops. And on Canada, let me tell you what he got.
Why
Let
do
me
you
tell
ask?
what he
You
got.
cannot just hold up. You can't just like insert your own qualifications into this. Where does it say that it's permanent?
The White House told me tonight that the commitment they have for Mexico is that they will
Do you
put
know how many?
permanent
Do you know how
troops on
many
the border.
troops
Well,
Mexico?
you didn't let us finish on Canada, by the way, because he did get new things on Canada, which I'm sure you know. Justin, and I'm just going to read you Justin Trudeau's own statement. Canada is making new, and if I'll define it for you, that means not previously existing, commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar, list cartels as terrorists,
A
ensure
fentanyl
24/7
czar.
eyes on the border, launch a joint.
God, I fucking hate liberals. Like, you insatiable fucking see you next Tuesdays. Like, you're so childish. And if any of you had served in a situation that you weren't being coddled by your parents, like a real job or the military, or even a husband that just didn't tolerate your shit and left you broken. But these people are so stupid and juvenile. And I can't tell you how many arguments I had today where I'm just sitting there going, yeah, dude, I can't clown at this level. I can't do it anymore. I don't have the capability to dumb myself down like that. You're done. Oh yeah, well, America are Nazis and you guys are fascist. And I'm like, this isn't an argument. This is you stomping your feet and holding your breath and having a temper tantrum and expect me to give you what you want. I'm not going to do it. I just can't fucking take it anymore. So when I see people like that, I don't believe in, you should never abuse a woman, but never? Are we sure? Never, ever, ever? There's never just a little justification to smack a bitch across the face just once? Never? Are we sure? Okay. I kind of want to smack her. Just saying. I don't think I would. But what I would do, I just wouldn't come on the show anymore. And that's what they want. They want you to go away. This is like Fox. It's the same thing they want. Like, I feel bad for Jessica because, yes, she's a bleeding heart liberal and she's naive and she's young and she's going to change her mind now that she has a kid and she has a family and she's going to realize, holy shit, I want to keep the things that are actually mine. I get it that Jessica Tarlov's going to be a different person in 5 years. But these people, they want Scott gone forever. So are you sure we can't smack them just one? No, there's never ever a reason to smack a woman. All right. Just want to make sure I want to make sure as someone who doesn't smack his own wife, I'm just saying, is there an opportunity somewhere where a woman might deserve a rap on the beak? I'm just asking a question. What if she's sleeping with your best friend and his friend? And you walk in on him. This is a great skit by Bill Burr. No? What if she steals all your money and goes ahead and spends it on drugs and a new Mercedes and spends the college tuition gambling? Can you smack? No? Oh, all right. You slap or hit the table. Can she be like on the table when I do it? No? Okay. Here's the rest.
Task force to make
All right, well, this is
money
really-
laundering and organized crime.
So, Richard, I'm going to let you in here, but
This
I
is
gotta-
all new. It's all new.
Hold on.
Can I say something
Hold
before
on,
we go to commercial?
everybody. Richard, just give me 1 second. 1 second. We got to make sure that this is clear because you just put fentanyl on the table, figuratively.
Yeah.
They're 43 pounds.
Thank God it's not literal because it'll kill you.
43 pounds of fentanyl.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great point. This graphic says so much. So much. 43 pounds of fentanyl can kill 33% of Americans. But this is what liberals do. It's only 67 million babies over 60 years. We can have more. We're only committing 67 million babies. We're almost taken 60% of what communism and socialism has killed over the last 100 years. It's only 67 million babies. It's only 43 pounds that can kill 33% of the United States right now. It's also a lot easier to smuggle fentanyl into Canada without getting caught because their border is a fucking joke. There's no wall. The Mounties are in major thoroughfares. Nobody is guarding all of fucking Canada. So to sit here and say, well, there's 43 pounds of seizures, and yes, that's U.S. Customs and Border Protection, but that's not the estimated number. It's not the estimated number. Now, what is the estimated number? I guarantee it's not as big as 21,148 in the southern border. I guarantee that. But that doesn't mean that copious amounts of drugs aren't coming over the northern border as well, because we know guns are, because Canada's fucking laws are so bad that people can't protect themselves and criminals don't care about laws, that criminals are buying guns from the United States. So if we know that an illegal activity like guns are getting through, you really think they're just going, oh no, they're not going to do fentanyl. It's wrong to do fentanyl. Mexico's got the corner on that. You think the Italian mob looks at the Irish and goes, yeah, fuck it. It's the Irish. Let them have it. Right. Because organized criminals like the Bloods and the Crips don't fight over neighborhoods of delivering drugs because, oh man, shit, the Crips got it, huh? Cuz we can't go ahead and deal here. Fuck, man, where are we going to go, eh? I don't know, man. Let's just let them have it and be in peace, cuz. All right. Arle, bato. Arle, Holmes. You think that's what happens? No, they bring Tech Nines and they fucking murder anybody peddling drugs and including women and children. And then Democrats call that a mass shooting and we get guilted that it's an AR-15 when it has nothing to do with that. Give me a break. Of course it's 43 pounds. It's still enough to kill 33% of the United States. And we all know 100% that it's not 43 pounds. So give me a break. Give me a break. Let's finish the rest of this.
I wouldn't recommend ingesting
From
it.
Canada, from the northern border, okay? That's not 4,300, not 43,000, 43, Richard.
Okay, so we got this, knew this, and knew that, and there's...
See, why am I not on this show? I destroy these people. Because, okay, so if you're going to compare the southern border and the northern border, can you please tell me how much money is spent on the northern border and protection with Border Patrol, with fences, with motion detectors, with anti-personnel? Can you please tell me that? Well, it's not a comparison. Okay, so what you're saying is that Canada spends 1/10 on border protection that Mexico does, and 1/1000th of what the U.S. does, and they've only saved 43 pounds, and you're surprised? You're surprised? Listen, I thought you guys were the educated party. Put me on with Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings and I will clean these people up. You're not making any sense. And this is the problem. You can't look at it based upon the numbers and go, why? Let's not go, oh, gotcha. How about we ask the why? Why is it only 43 pounds when we know for a fact that there are more guns going into Canada than any other place in the world outside of Mexico? Why? Well, we know gun running was a big thing with Obama. As Fast and the Furious, they were going and supplying Mexico with all the guns and bringing guns into Mexico. But we also know that the border is porous. And Canada will tell you right now, 100%, that they have a gun problem in Canada because of all the illegal guns coming up. So if we can admit that, why can't we go ahead and say, well, fentanyl 2 is not being caught? It's pretty simple. Give me a break. It's not even remotely close. Number one. I'm not even done yet.
Yes. But was it worth pissing off and offending Canada, which is one of your closest allies?
Yes. Yes, it's most assuredly worth it to piss off a globalist government who steps on the necks of anyone who disagrees with them, who bows down to Maoism and China and Xi Jinping, for people who have sentiment for the New World Order and want to bring a single currency and want to have Canada be under the umbrella of globalism, with Justin Trudeau, who is a backstabbing, censored dictator fucktard, who got on his knees for President Xi, who then got on his knees for Donald Trump, then goes back to his state, or in Canada, talks shit about Donald Trump, and then does not do anything that he promised Joe Biden in December. What does he do? He decides to lock Parliament, so nothing can be done. And now he's making fictitious promises and redoubling down to Donald Trump. And Donald said, fine, that sounds good, but you got 30 fucking days to enact it. And how is he supposed to enact it when they got an election coming up in March? Have you ever thought that Donald Trump is playing chess once again? Because this is the guy who did the Abraham Accords and schooled the Middle East. This is the guy that renegotiated USMCA and NAFTA and already beat Trudeau once. This is the guy who went across, David, thank you for subscribing. This is the guy who went against the Middle East with not just the Abraham Accords, but making Jerusalem the holy city of Israel, when 6 other presidents promised, not right now, Mel, I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll, Mel. Nope, not right now. Come back. You can come back to, you just made me mess this up. When I'm on a roll, you can't do that, Mel. Can't do that. I'm crushing it.
Was it?
I'm fucking crushing it. Can't do that. Give me a second, then you can come on. Was it Donald Trump who went ahead and made the holy city of Jerusalem and recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel? Yes, he did. And moved the embassy there, even though 6 other presidents promised it and said it couldn't be done. Isn't this the guy that said he was going to go get ISIS and did it? Isn't this the guy that got North Korea to stop launching rockets? You all made fun of him. Isn't this the guy that made the entire European gas and energy hungry natural gas countries to not purchase Putin Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2? Isn't this the guy who did that? Is he the, I'm just making sure we understand. Is this also the guy that got NATO countries to pay up and then is doing it again? This is the guy who doesn't get to negotiate, the guy who doesn't know what he's doing, the art of the deal, who's a failure. I've just given you about 6. I could give you 50 where this guy has completely dominated geopolitically. Up to including Saudi Arabia, that agreed, along with 3 other countries, 3 of them terrorist countries, including Saudi Arabia, I'd say, so 4, because Saudi Arabia absolutely is a terrorist country. Just look, 17 out of the hijackers were all Saudi Arabian. That they agreed with peace with Israel, and it took Iran funding and proxying terrorist groups to kill Jews on October 7th to break that peace treaty. God, like we haven't seen that a million fucking times in 3,000 years. Muslims going after Jews and getting in the middle of peace treaties. Yeah, this Donald Trump, was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. All right, Canada, call me. Give me a call, Canada. Hurry up. We got to get Mel on the phone. Because, pardon me if I'm wrong, and pardon the language, because I can articulate myself in both mediums. Where I come from, mother is half a word. But was it necessary to show Canada that we could cripple their dollar if we wanted to in a blink? Yes. And if he would have applied those tariffs, honestly, I think it would have been the closest ever that the Canadian dollar and the American dollar were almost aligned. So yes, I do believe it was necessary. But what he has done is he has put Justin Trudeau behind the 8 ball. Let me tell you why. And then, Mel, I'm going to get your opinion on this, and you can tell me if I'm right. Because this is politics, folks, and this is what I do, and I'm really fucking good at it. Welcome to the show if you didn't know. Mel from Gay, North Dakota is on the phone. Listen. Donald Trump, by Trudeau closing and shutting down Parliament, they can't put this to a vote. They can't get the appropriations. They can't get the funding for this. And he didn't make any moves in December. He promised. Trump got him to commit, saw the sting of the Canadian dollar losing value, and it hurt. And our stock exchange went down a little bit. We understand this was going to happen. At that point, Trudeau came to the table. Mexico came to the table and said, all right, let's make a deal. Justin Trudeau, who did not act on doing these promises, did expand his promises. Yes, it was a border czar. Yes, he expanded more money. Yes, he promised, but it's a false promise. And Donald Trump knows this because Justin Trudeau cannot get any of this passed because he's essentially a lame duck prime minister, even though that's not the term, because they're having an election in March. But what does this do? It makes the Canadian people put Justin Trudeau and see him on notice that he promised something to the United States, will not deliver, and this is going to hurt them in the election. He got Justin Trudeau to stamp this, and now if Donald Trump puts these tariffs on, he looks justified geopolitically to the rest of the world. This is what Donald Trump does. He finds your weak spot and he just fucking nudges it. Trudeau doesn't know how to play this game. Mel, am I wrong? Am I full of shit? You're up in Canada from Gay, North Dakota.
Oh, no, you're not wrong whatsoever. The only clarification I want to make is the election in March is to get his replacement for the federal election. The election that's going to happen in March is the Premier of Ontario, who, in his infinite wisdom, and he's supposed to be a conservative Premier, he went and canceled Starlink because Elon Musk is a bad guy too. And what that jackass did, he just punished because the Starlink the contract was for all the remote and northern areas in Ontario for access.
Which are predominantly Republican or conservative, right?
He's conservative, supposedly.
No. The areas they cut off Starlink is predominantly conservative. Is that correct?
You betcha. 100%.
Great. And which makes sense.
So, yeah. So when we talked over time saying where the missiles should go, Toronto is, like I said, Toronto and Ottawa are the two prime, like just lop it in the middle because you'll get both at the same time because it's so infested. And the U.S. ambassador from Canada, Bob Ray, he's a lib. He's an idiot. He lost the race to be prime minister years ago, and he's bitter. Whatever. He's an idiot. So all these people that you're arguing with on your blogs there, they're all from Ontario.
How am I doing on those arguments? How am I doing on these arguments, by the way? I'd love to get from my friend in Canada. How are we doing?
You're doing good. It's just you're doing what we do up here. We beat our heads on the table and we get called everything under the sun. We're Nazis, we're traitors, we're treasonous, we should all move to the States. We're all whatever. We're like, you're insane. You all come from Toronto, Ottawa, some from Winnipeg, but those are the NDP, which are just as nuts as the Liberal Party is.
that a lot of them block, Mel. They like will say something and then they'll just block me, and I'm like, you pussies,
yeah.
you know.
It's so childish. Like it's just, and that's why I vent my frustration a lot of the times with you on your show, and I have the outlet that you've given me to be here, because it's so frustrating, because you can't make anybody listen. Like they just, but after the last, whatever, this proroguing, and he went to hide because he was going to get a non-confidence, which would have called the election.
Time
We
out.
would have had
Mel, time out. Hey, someone banned Rhoda Elizabeth. Rhoda, I'm sorry, sweetie. You go get a self-esteem. Nobody wants to have sex with you here. I do. Call me later. Call me later.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead.
Send her to Trudeau's house because his wife isn't there anymore, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's absolute insanity. And we're all the smart people up here on the conservative sites or whatever, like he's talking out of his ass like he always does. He's making promises he can't do because the government, as you said, is prorogued. It all has to go through. He can't pass a bill. He can't do anything.
Yeah.
And as soon as he pulls that prorogue, the non-confidence motion comes in from the Conservatives and the Bloc, which will throw him out earlier. But his little resignation just after Christmas was another one of those fanfares. Well, I'm not really stepping down till there's a replacement. No, get the fuck out of Dodge, because that's what we wanted. So let me.
Now, you need to let me have a chance to ask a question. So is this like non-pro forma? Is this a vote, or is this they're going to go ahead and take a conservative or a liberal and stick them right and just replace them? Is this like an open seat, or is this an open election? What is it in March?
It's because we don't elect our prime minister up here. Whoever has the most seats in the whatever, their head of their party becomes the prime minister.
Fucking parliament. It's parliament. Oh God.
Yeah.
It's fucking England.
So,
shoot me in the face. All right, so hold on. So let's have a conversation, because I got to go, because this is 50. We're almost an hour in this A block. So okay,
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. So are we going to flip seats? I mean, are we going to have a conservative majority or what?
Not until the actual federal election, which, as he's delaying this his replacement to come in, then the replacement, they have 90 days to call the election. So that is pushing. There's a whole backstory to this.
I see.
There's a whole bunch of members of parliament that are trying to get their lifetime pensions, and they can't get it until September. So the longer this drags out, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP party, who thinks he's going to be prime minister, but that ain't going to happen. But whoever takes Justin's spot will become the interim prime minister of Canada for however many weeks until the federal election is called.
So I'm hearing one last question, then we got to bail. I'm hearing that conservative support is getting a little soft, like down 3 points, and I'm sure this is a lot. This is the on. This is the media doing their bullshit and feeding Ontario, or excuse me, Ottawa and Toronto? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're feeding them, and just like they did to all the liberals here, trying to run them up. But it's my understanding that conservative support in Canada is growing at a rapid clip. Is this true?
Oh, astronomically.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. That's all I needed to know.
The last little election that we had in BC, the Conservatives were one seat short of taking the government. So, and this is a communist province. This has been run by social credit and communists forever. And that was the closest it's been in 60 years. So there's hope. And all the other provinces are the same, except for those little echelons in Toronto and Ottawa. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, Gay North Dakota. We love you. Thank you so much, Mel.
Hey, cheers.
Yep. Mel, a good friend of the show, someone who helps us. We have a lot of Canadian fans, surprisingly enough. A lot of them don't get to hear us anymore. So if you don't know, you can go to thedumbshow.com and you can follow us there, especially if you're up in Canada. You can find us on Rumble, but one of the best kept secrets is wimkin.com. Listen to how you sign up for Wimkin. It is essentially Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, all of it rolled, Facebook, all of it rolled into one. They are sponsors of our show. We love them. 9 million strong. Good friend of the CEO is a good friend of ours. And we're also owners in the company because he decided to make us plank owners in the company. We love him to death. Listen here. This is how you can always find us.
Join WimKen.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at WimKen.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
So, couple things. USAID. This is a big rigmarole. Marco Rubio had a chance to talk about it with foreign aid. Let's listen to it real quick, and then we can also watch a couple other videos, and we're out of A block and back into the B block. Here it is.
Mr. President, you're of course a development expert. How do you feel about the cuts in U.S. assistance or the changes in U.S. assistance, and how will this change worldwide and change with the competition with China? Thank you.
Well, let me just answer the first question. The second question is, again, President Bukele made an offer. We communicated it to the public. He communicated it to the public. We'll have to study it and see how something like that could even be applied. On the first question about aid, no one's talking. This is a 90-day freeze through which it allows us now to review programs. You know, before we did the freeze, we couldn't find out anything about some of these programs. And USAID in particular, they refused to tell us anything. We won't tell you what the money's going to, where the money's for, who has it, which contractor it's been. You know, in some cases it goes through 4 different contractors before it reaches the intended recipient. These are not my numbers. These are USAID's number. In some cases with USAID, 10, 12, 13%, maybe less of the money was actually reaching the recipient, and the rest was going into the overhead and the bureaucracy. This isn't my money. This is taxpayer money. So we're not going to eliminate foreign aid. We're going to have foreign aid that makes sense. We're going to have foreign aid that works. We're going to have foreign aid that furthers the national interest. We're going to have foreign aid that benefits our trusted partners and our allies. I am here today. We've issued a waiver today because in Costa Rica we have a trusted partner and an ally who has proven that they have taken aid from the United States and used it to fix a problem, to help us, to do it in a way that actually helps the United States. They're stopping drugs. They're stopping criminals. They're identifying terrorists. This is foreign aid that furthers the national interest. Other programs we have questions about. But we've also issued waivers because we don't want anybody see anybody die or anybody be harmed in the short term. But we're going to conduct a review, and we are going to have foreign aid in this country that is going to further the national interest of the United States. If it doesn't make us stronger or more prosperous or more secure, we aren't going to spend taxpayer money on it. We owe that to the people of our country.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna make one comment, and I'm not going to go into it any further. If anybody believes that USAID does not have CIA ties, and that money that's allocated is sent through multiple contractors and multiple shell companies that are run by the CIA, then you're just not paying attention, or you've never played the game. I would love if a reporter would just simply ask and say, I have a question for you. Is there any indication that USAID has funded Central Intelligence operations from a geopolitical position and used money under false pretense and the American taxpayer dollars through oversight and appropriations of Congress, knowingly assisting with the gain of aid or the Senate Intelligence Committee, knowing that these companies have been soliciting funds that were designed for global aid and being used for clandestine operations in foreign countries? There's my fucking question. This is why I will not get the seat at the White House press briefing. I'm just letting you know. This is why they will not even allow me in the room. And I don't care that they're conservatives. I don't care they're Trump fans. They don't want me in that room because that's what I would ask. And I already know the answer. And the moment that they say no, I'm going to go ahead and list companies that I absolutely 100% know without certainty, and contractors and vendors that are most assuredly CIA ran and operated. I'll never get in that room. They'll never let me in that room. Because that's a question that nobody wants to answer and nobody will answer. Because to find out that the CIA domestically operates inside the United States with American taxpayer dollars would create a holy shitstorm of epic proportions. But honestly, maybe it wouldn't, because I don't know if anyone would actually care and understand the severity of CIA running clandestine operations with American taxpayer dollars that are supposed to be funded for humanitarian aid. They won't let me in that room. So you know what? I got a bunch of questions today. People are like, "Hey, what are you talking about? USAID? It's great. It helps people. It helps the starving children who are eating rice and Sally Struthers, and they're choking on rice. It helps." No, it doesn't. You people are fucking naive. So I made a little list. I should really write this down. I can't see shit. I'm blind. Can I change the font size on this? Bigger. Ooh, yeah, I can. Oh, God, that's so much better. All right, ready? So, Matt, USAID is so wholesome and prosperous, and it takes care of little Timmy, who just needs 3 little grains of rice in order to be fed for the week. You and your $1.25 can feed an Ethiopian kid for 30 days. Oh, really? Well, here we go. Merry fucking Christmas. You might want to record, because nobody's talking about this. I'll talk about it. Syria, cross-border humanitarian aid fraud, 2015-2016, between October 15 and September 16. USAID's Office of Inspector General, the OIG, received multiple complaints alleging fraud and false claims in sub-awards of a Syrian cross-border program, allegations including mismanagement in clinics inside Syria, such as theft and mismanagement of salaries paid to clinic staff. Afghanistan road construction mismanagement, 2008. An audit by USAID's OIG found that the results of $62 million contract in Afghanistan fell significantly short of the intended impact, with buildings constructed by subcontractors exhibiting major construction defects. Flaws like support, foundation, wiring, fire hazards, insecure levels and floors. Sounds amazing. Sounds like liberal cities. Iraq Community Stabilization Program in 2009 suspended work on the Community Stabilization Program in Iraq, citing evidence of phantom jobs and possible financial support in insurgents. Financial support of insurgents? What is this, the fucking mafia? Going ahead and having phantom jobs? No-call jobs? I'm going to need 5 no-call jobs, 2 no-show jobs, and then go ahead and throw me some calzone and some pig feet. What the fuck? Phantom jobs. Supplying money to insurgency. Do you know what insurgency is? It's a nice word for terrorists. Peru, forced sterilizations in 1990. USAID was implicated in the forced sterilization of approximately 300,000 people, indigenous women in Peru, as part of the country's Plan Verde. Investigations found that a correlation between increased USAID funding and the number of sterilizations performed were directly causation in the analysis. Direct causation, which means without that money, these sterilizations wouldn't have taken place. It's only 300,000 women. At least they're not killing babies. How about the Gaza peer management under Biden? Remember this shit? Despite warnings, a $230 million peer project intended to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza was largely ineffective, operating for 20 days. $230 million for a pier in a place that was renowned for blowing shit up. They don't even have a number of the people it aided. The number is ridiculous. Like less than 2,200, I think. So you're talking about spending, if I could do the math correctly, isn't that like $200,000 per saved individual? Diversion of humanitarian aid in Syria, 2023. Syrian national are indicted for diverting over $9 million in U.S. funds for humanitarian aid intended for Syrian civilians to armed militia groups, including a designated terrorist organization in Syria. Oh, lovely. How about embezzlement in Zimbabwe or in Zambia? 2024, former employee of the USAID guaranteed in Zambia stole more than $193,000 from programs funded by USAID and other U.S. agencies. It's not stolen. Folks, I can't even begin to tell you how much money goes through this shill of an organization that's completely not only mismanaged, but it's misappropriated. Misallocation of funds, Project Concern International, 2014 and 16, the organization improperly shifted costs between projects using USAID grant funds to cover expenses for privately funded projects, leading to a settlement of $537,000. Misconduct by implementer, employees in Africa, USAID in Africa falsified program records and engaged in conflicts of interest compromising program integrity. The Haiti reconstruction efforts in the 2010s, Clinton Foundation, post-earthquake reconstruction project forced criticism of mismanagement and failure to deliver promised results with significant funds unaccounted for and funds that were reassigned to the Clinton Foundation and funneled into the Clinton Foundation that they never even used in Haiti. I'm with her for prison. Afghanistan agricultural development fraud. 2015, USAID's Agricultural Development Fund in Afghanistan was subject to fraud with loans diverted to unauthorized purposes. CIA. Pakistan energy infrastructure projects. They funded energy projects in Pakistan, faced allegations of corruption and failure to meet objectives despite substantial investments. How about the Liberia Ebola response in 14 and 15? Audits revealed mismanagement in Ebola response, including improper payments and lack of oversight in fund allocation. Nepal, I hope you're recording this. You're not going to hear this on the news. Nepal earthquake reconstruction, 2015. Funds allocated for earthquake reconstruction were mismanaged, leading to delays and uncompleted projects. Kenya, Philippines, Typhoon Haitian relief. Nigeria's power sector. South Sudan humanitarian, Ethiopia, Cambodia, Ukraine, Bangladesh, Jordan, Guatemala, Mozambique, Haiti, Cuba, Afghanistan again. Folks, I've got 1,000 of these. I don't have the time. I don't have a long enough show to cover this shit. But now here's outside of the corruption and mismanagement is let's talk about the real heavy lifting. $2.5 million for DEI in Serbia. $70,000 for Irish DEI musicals. $47,000 on transgender operas in Colombia. $32,000 on trans comic book in Peru. Iraq, $20 million for an Iraq version of Sesame Street to promote LGBTQ agenda. Egypt and Tunisia, $56 million for tourism. Jordan, $40 million for schools. Vietnam, $11 million to fight trash burning. Central America, $27 million for deportee gift bags. Trump lawfare, $27 million to fund left-wing prosecution of populist political opponents around the globe, including Donald Trump. All patently illegal. USAID. He wants to kill starving children. It's 90 days, fuckwads. Relax. We need some oversight. We need to go ahead and ensure that this stuff stops. And this is what happens.
You talk about the United States.
As Democrats try to force their way in the building. Watch this. Good for Trump. I love this shit. Watch this. I know it's only on B Block. I know, but I got to do my job.
They advise that they will be in contact shortly and that best to contact.
Hey, we don't get some donations in this mofo, we're not going to have a C and D block. Folks, it's $70 and we don't have it. We're zero. Olivia's probably looking. We got nothing. I know it's interesting, but we got to help with the show, folks. Got to do it. Help me out.
The Department of State at this time if you need any further comments.
Who is they?
The front office of the administrator.
So could I just ask, are you with AID?
I am.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Are the Doge people here? Are they in this building now?
We are 8 employees currently. That's all I know. I don't know specific who Doge is or any of that. I just know that 8 employees are here. Although, as you are all aware, it's in the press. everybody's been asked to telework. There are select people here to provide services.
Amy says, rephrase that. It's a reply from Matt to a lefty commentator on his page. What's that? Huh? What's that about? I missed it. Who said what, Ames? I didn't see it. I'm reading. You guys keep watching while I read.
So the rest of them are all telework.
Are you career?
I am. Are you?
Thank
You guys are career
you.
as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We want to thank you for your service. So there's no opportunity to.
No, unfortunately, I don't control that. I'm just here to pass along the information. Thank you for coming, and I'm sure Department of State will be putting out more information for sure.
Are you the senior civil servant here?
No, I am not the senior civil servant.
Here
I have
today.
gray hair like
Today.
you. No, absolutely. Just gray hair. That's it. That's the senior part of me. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep, we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Why would they need to go see Eric Erickson? I just told him what they needed to know. What is Eric going to tell him? That he doesn't like Trump and thinks that everything that Trump's done is bad because his stocks are going down and doesn't support him and is a never Trumper? Is that what Eric Erickson's going to tell him? I think they're good here, Suzanne. I think so. I think they got what they needed. And I'm not going to bash Trump in the process and make a profit off of it. And I am was a big Eric Erickson fan. I just got tired of his backstabbing. I really did. I like him, but
being a strong partner.
I don't like his constant backstabbing. It bothers me. I think it's disingenuous. Honestly. Truly. Last thing. Joni
Going
Ernst,
back several years.
who I get frustrated by with Joni Ernst, but I do like this clip. Listen to this.
I have been on USAID's case for years now, going back several years, where I was trying to investigate the expenditures for humanitarian aid, primarily when it came to the war in Ukraine. And what my team and I encountered was absolute.
Yeah, but Suzanne, don't you understand they can hear that here and they don't need to go to Eric Erickson? I just said the same thing. So I just gave the same information. So I don't know why they would need to go to Eric Erickson to hear that. I like, can you? All right. So Suzanne, I'm not coming down on you. Please don't take this personally. But can you imagine somebody who works as hard as I work, and you're a sandwich maker, and you go ahead and you put the right amount of water and the right amount of yeast, and you just perfect timing in the oven to make the best sourdough bread, and you get fresh cold cuts and you cut them just a quarter of an inch thick, and you want to give a little extra to your customer, and you go ahead and put the best Italian dressing and olive oil and pepperoncinis and tomato and all that and onion, and you make the best Subway sandwich in the world, and you go over there and you're like, here you go. Here is your sandwich, and it's all for you. And then the person, when there's a line around the block, comes out and goes, hey, you guys should go over to Subway. They got the same sub over there. And it's cheaper, it's a lot more fake, and it's not as good for you, but head on over there. I think as a business owner, you might go, wow, why? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
And lies coming out of USAID. They did everything possible to stop me from accessing their records to understand where our taxpayer money was going. I eventually partnered with Representative Mike McCall in the House, and we started a formal congressional investigation. And even after that, they really pushed back.
Thanks, Frankie. Great work, Matt. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the help tonight.
Only allowed us access to a small amount of data. But what we found was extreme expenditures on the part of
Thanks, Amy.
USAID with very little data-driven results. We have seen money funded in the Wuhan Institute of Virology through dollars steered by USAID on dangerous coronaviruses. We saw how that turned out. We've seen funding going to Morocco for pottery classes, tourism in Lebanon, of all places, even when the State Department was advising against travel. I could go on and on and on.
So when we sit here and say, oh, USAID, the whole world's going to stop, and, this kid in Zimbabwe is going to die, it's a 90-day hold. They need to evaluate. But it's amazing that all these senators and congressmen don't want this done. Elizabeth Warren is having a freaking conniption fit. She is literally having a child on the White House steps. They're literally calling for the death of Elon Musk in Washington, D.C. right now. We're going to talk a little bit about that protest so you can hear it. But this is just nonsensical craziness. I am not a fan of USAID. And here is just a little graph that can help you guys get an idea about foreign assistance across the U.S. and around the world. Here is this. So this is going to show you a graph from 2001 till now. This is disbursement from the top recipients, and overall color denounces quantity. Go ahead and give this a watch, and I'll kind of walk you through it. So 2003, you've got $1 billion to Afghanistan, which is war, $9 billion to Israel, $7 billion to Egypt, $1 billion to Pakistan, and then $1 billion to Colombia, $2 billion to Russia, and $13 billion to all others. That's in 2003. Then you go ahead and take a look, and we start to climb. 2005, you now have $7 billion in Afghanistan, Israel $22 billion, $21 billion in Iraq, $16 billion in Egypt, Ukraine $1 billion, $5 billion in Jordan, Pakistan $4 billion, Ethiopia $2 billion, $41 billion in all other. See ya, Bobby. 2010, $40 billion to Afghanistan, $37 billion to Israel, Iraq $56 billion, $25 billion to Egypt, $2 billion to Ukraine, $79 billion all in to others. This really is shocking. We're going to fast forward here. We're going to get to like 2021, 22, so we can get Ukraine in this bad boy. These numbers are astronomical. I mean, astronomical. Okay, let's go ahead and stop it right about okay, this is only foreign aid. This is not military aid. $130 billion to Afghanistan, $82 billion to Israel, $80 billion to Iraq, $42 billion to Egypt, Ukraine $29 billion, $27 billion to Jordan, Pakistan $21, $20 to Ethiopia, $9 to Palestine, South Africa $11 billion, Uganda $11 billion, Nigeria $12 billion, $15 billion to Kenya, $273 billion to other. We need accountability. We need appropriations. And this is the problem, is that all of these politicians get kickbacks from these other countries. They get kickbacks through the Free Uganda movement or the Clean Cambodia's Water Preservation Society. And they receive massive amounts of donations for all of this money that gets funneled. And it is absolutely one of the most corrupt things ever. And these politicians are shit and purple Twinkies because they don't want to get accountable for this. You're talking trillions of dollars being funneled in the last 60 years. And it's all through different programs. It's all through forever wars. This shit's going to get exposed. But USAID is fraudulent, most assuredly. And they just keep doing it over and over and over again. We're going to shift a little bit out of B block and move into C right after this quick video, which scream along with him. If you're having a bad day and you need to just get it off your chest, and maybe you wanted to go over to Eric Erickson, but he's not on right now, and you have to watch the Don't Unfriend Me show instead. Maybe you want to feel like this guy.
Everything's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah. C block. These guys. These guys. Here is Randy Weingarten. Hey, thanks, Paul. Finally, gosh. Love hanging out here. Thanks, brother. You got it, Paul. Thanks, everybody. Good to see. Just feeling a little unloved tonight. Why is Trump interfering in Gaza? I wish he would stop. Why? Why? Donald Trump's always been against terrorism. Gaza is a terrorist state. There is no Palestine. They're terrorists. It might as well be a caliphate. And honestly, they've exfilled the civilians. Now what's left is terrorism and people who are desperately trying to save whatever's left of Gaza. Good. Move them. Put them in Egypt. Put them in United Arab Emirates. Put them in Saudi Arabia. Give them a little piece of land. Whatever. That's as close to their homeland as Israel isn't. Palestinians are not the Philistines, folks. They're not the same people. Israel has an absolute, indisputable claim to that land. And they were there long before Palestinians. You guys are talking about the Philistines, and the Philistines are not Arabs. More than likely, they were Middle Europeans and Greeks. Palestine is an amalgamation of Turkey and Syria. You got to go all the way back to the Canaans, and you've got to go back to Mesopotamia, and you got to look at who they were. They were nomads. They were vagabonds. They were castigated out of their own countries and matriculated into Israel. The Romans overtook it and exiled the Jews, and still 7% of the Jews remained, enough to go ahead and say that they never truly left Israel. There was no claim for Palestine. Palestinia is a Roman word, for fuck's sakes. It's not Aramaic. It's not Turkish. It's a Roman word. Come on. Why shouldn't Trump get involved? Good. Let's get these bastards out of here so we can get a peace treaty in the Middle East and we can stop playing jerk off. Let's literally cripple Iran. Have Saudi Arabia sign the Abraham Accords and then literally put a blanket of security against Jordan, UAE. Let's get Egypt involved, Saudi Arabia involved. Let's start hunting down these terrorist cells in these countries, eradicate them from the fucking planet, and let's go ahead and have Iran blink. And if they do, we fucking destroy them. Folks, I am not pro-war. I am anti-terrorism. Sorry. You've seen the shit that I've seen. You've seen the shit that my brothers and sisters have seen. You've seen people, anyone beyond the wire, they understand what's going on. So yeah, I want Trump involved. I want Trump to make sure Gaza stays with Israel and they exfil these sons of bitches out, because 91% of the adults in Gaza before October 7th believed that Jews needed to be eradicated from the earth. I love that Trump said what he said today. I love that he stood up there and called out all the neo-Nazi fuckers like Nick Fuentes and Stu Peters and Jake Shields and said, there's people out there who believe the Holocaust wasn't real. He just absolutely called out the alt-right movement of our party, and good, because I don't want those bastards, those neo-Nazi pricks in our party. Good. I'm glad he called them out. Good for Trump for taking a stand. Because here's what it comes down to. You can say whatever you want about Israel. You can say whatever you want about the Jews. But the only time that Arabs aren't killing Arabs is when they can kill Jews. And if you think that there won't be a peace treaty between the Arab countries. Watch the ones who don't sign it. They will be at war. The Shiites, the Sunnis, the Kurds, it doesn't matter. They'll kill each other like they always did. When they don't have the Jews to blame, they kill each other. That's the way this happens. As far as money to Zelensky, that's not my understanding. I thought that he kept funding for Israel and Zelensky both. I don't listen. People ask me, Matt, why do you think that you would fund Israel and not Ukraine? Well, because it's geopolitical interest. We have an interest in Middle Eastern oil. We have an interest in OPEC. We have an interest in the petrodollar, which is no longer associated with Saudi Arabia, and we should probably want to get that back. We should have Saudi Arabia be negotiating for that because we don't want them joining BRICS. Thank you, Keith Baker, $21. Keep up the great work. Love the show. We love you too, Keith. Thank you, buddy. We don't want them joining BRICS. Do you want the petrodollar signing the BRICS? Listen, if we do that, we're going to be out of control. We're not going to be able to stop BRICS. I don't want Russia and Iran and China and South Africa establishing where our dollar's at. Do you? No. I don't think anybody wants to do that. I think we want the American dollar to be the number one traded currency in the world and continue that. So we need to make the dollar strong. We need to make sure we get energy independence. We need to stop this war in Israel, get that shit on lock, get Saudi Arabia in the Abraham Accords, and literally just decapitate Iran. That's it. Israel is our strongest ally in the Middle East. Whether we like it or not, and you want to know why? Because they're batshit crazy and they got a nuke. Do I love everything Israel does? No. Do I like Benjamin Netanyahu? Not really. And can I tell you something? Either does Trump. I don't think Trump has any soft spot for the Palestinians, but I think sometimes Netanyahu frustrates President Trump. I'm not saying he's not loyal to Israel. I'm not saying Donald Trump, but Donald Trump doesn't like game players. He doesn't like suck-ups. And sometimes Netanyahu does that depending upon who's in power. He needs to show Trump some loyalty because Donald Trump has been the best president to Israel out of any other president in U.S. history. Hands down. As far as Ukraine, listen, I don't give a shit. Russia's been trying to take territory since the Bolshevik Revolution. It's what Russians do. Let Europe worry about Europe. Now, if they want to get involved in NATO, that's a completely different conversation. But Ukraine is a corrupt country. Ukraine did sex trafficking, money laundering, the Azov Battalion. They are a corrupt, they have been declined for NATO I don't know how many times. They had a reinstalled government in 2014. The U.S. went in there with the CIA, and we did regime change. Zelensky is a little puppet, and all he wants is weapons, 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 weapons. That's all he wants. And he has no problem killing his own people in the Donbass region or Donetsk. He has no problem. And he has and he will. And he's just as bad as Putin in a lot of ways. I don't like Ukraine, but do I think that we should run proxy and weaken Russia? Fuck yes, we should. But it's the amount of money and how it's not accounted for because we funded the Afghani war, the entire war with forward operating bases outside of the wire, command fleets, full Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, in country. Ukraine spent the entirety of the Afghan war in the first 2 years. It would have funded the Afghanistan war. What we gave Ukraine in the first 6 months would have funded the Afghan war for 2 years. Where's all the fucking money? What are they doing with it? How come Zelensky's saying, we didn't get 120, 130 billion, 150 billion. I got 70 billion. Where's the rest? Where's the rest of the money? Where is the rest of the money? Why is Zelensky saying he only got 70 billion? Why did Joe Biden pardon his entire family, I wonder? Where's all the money? Who took 30% off the top? I don't know, sounds like laundering to me. Now, I didn't buy into that conspiracy, but part of me is going, he certainly sounds like a middleman's involved. where the United States is sending money over to Ukraine and then it's unaccounted for and Zelensky's not getting the full brunt. This sounds like Stop Soldier Suicide. This sounds like Wounded Warrior Project. Oh, you give us $1, 96 cents goes to marketing and salary, but we'll give 4 cents to veterans. That's what this shit sounds like to me. This is corrupt. I want to know. I want to know. Don't you? Here's Randy Weingarten from Department of Education. She's the union school board lackey. And she says teachers are going to be defunded. Donald Trump's going to eliminate the Department of Education. Well, I happen to have a little piece of something that's going to go ahead and disprove that. What's
Who's
new?
taking it?
What's new? There you go. Listen to this. The questions that we're asking about the Biden administration and our government, Weingarten has the balls to sit here and say, what's happening to the money? I want to know what happened to all that COVID money. Where'd the COVID money go? All the schools had their budgets doubled. Where did all that money go? I don't see any new buses. I don't see any new enhanced security. I don't see security guards. I don't see any monitoring systems. I don't see any upgrades to computers or air conditioning. Where's all that money? Where'd the COVID dollars for all the schools go? Where'd all the money at? Here she is.
Going? Who's taking it? Are they trying to take that money that kids get for tax cuts for billionaires?
Oh my God.
What's going on? That's why we have to.
What's going on?
See what they're doing. It is illegal to take that money out of children's mouths and give it to billionaires.
Now, are there areas you think that could be improved or streamlined?
Oh my God.
But we'll never do it.
My members, remember, Al Shanker actually didn't want a Department of Education. He wanted it to stay, one of my predecessors, he wanted to stay within Health and Human Services, HEW, because he thought it was more important to have the whole child focused on. So, of course, there are ways to fix the bureaucracy. Of course, there are ways to make things better. I mean, Elizabeth Warren just found millions of dollars of savings that could happen if people work together. But my point is this, and you just said it. States and localities run education. They basically, that's where 90% of the funding for education goes. They already run it. They should run it. The federal government should not run it. But if we want to try and make things better, like having different kinds of pathways for kids in terms of career and tech ed, the states and localities have not done this. I was a teacher, an AP history teacher in a career tech ed school in the 90s. We have to change. We have to make these pathways available. So if someone...
So where's the money going to go? Oh my God, what about the money? What about the money? What's going to happen with money for all those kids? They're killing your children. They're so full of shit. We fell for this. We're not going to fall for it again. By the way, here's the entire document. The entire document. Everyone knows the answer of what Trump's going to do. We all know. What's he going to do? Does Trump use the federal government to go ahead and limit the state's powers? Is that what he does? No. Go to page 13. It's right here. I've got the whole document if you want it. Trump signed it. It's amazing. Talks about restoring parental rights, dismantling censorship and free speech. But it also talks about any of the monies that are appropriated by the federal government. It no longer goes to the Board of Education, no longer goes to the public schools. Who does it go to? Who wants to tell me? Does anyone know? Is it just me? Who does it go? It goes to the states. And it's the states' jobs to allocate that to the schools. Isn't that the way it should be? Why is the federal government funding state education anyway? Public education has been an abortion since it was created. It's a complete fucking failure. We're last in everything. It's like watching women race against a transgender in running or swimming. They're all going to lose. Every one of our kids looks like they're going up against a male athlete. The money goes back to the states. Who gives a shit? Where's the money going to go? The kids are all going to die. Why? So you can't go ahead and invest that money the way you deem fit versus a standard that the United States? Here's my thought. How about this? Until we get the national average of testing up, until we start leading in STEM again, how about this? You don't get any fucking money from the government. Let the state pay for it. Let the state pay for it. California wants to go ahead and give shit to illegals? Great. You pay for your own education. Federal government's done. Well, I'm done. I'm done with this stupid stuff. So ridiculous. Folks, if you have a question, you got to throw it out now. Because we not have overtime tonight. Because we're ugly. Yeah, that's it for C Block. We'll be right back.
The Dumb Store is veteran-owned with a 5-star diamond rating for service and satisfaction. We offer quality products like coffee, shirts, hoodies, and hats, all made by veterans. Shop with confidence, backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews. Use code DUMB10 to save 10%. Visit thedumbshow.com today. Thank you for your support.
D-Block is up. Elon Musk, assassination attempts. The left, the tolerant left, the left that J6 was the largest state in history. Oh my God. So horrible. Yeah, they're calling for the death of Elon Musk. Why? Melanie, I'm doing the best I can without somebody. So, I'm trying, hun. You might have to put it in twice. Just carbon copy and do it again. I'm doing the best I can. It's kind of hard, So, trying to put a lot into a show, so I don't have all that. So, try to put it in queue and hit me up again. I'll try to get to him real quick. Do you know anything about the WEP that just passed? I don't, Tina. I'll look it up. What is the U.S. doing about American use of illegal drugs? No demand, no supply, two-pronged. Yep, we talked about that. Does Maxine Waters look like Nancy Pelosi with a real good tan? I've never considered it, but maybe. Is it considered a crime and or treason if AOC, Omar, and others are helping illegal criminals escape and other funding hiding costs? Well, sure, you're an accessory to a crime, but they're not going to get charged for that. I mean, they won't even hold themselves accountable for kid touching and child sex trafficking and wasting money and illicit sexual relationships that they have a slush fund for, drunk driving, drug use. Come on. That's, they don't care. I remember pallets of USAID food rotting on the docks and never getting to the people in need. It has always been a sham. Yeah. Zelensky claims he received only 1/3 of the money promised him. Did his money go through USAID? It'll be interesting to find out where almost went through the State Department and the DOJ or the DOD. Do you know the names of the people at the top of USAID? I do, but I can't go over it right now. I'd have to look it up for you. No, I don't know them off the top of my head. Did you see anything about Egypt moving troops into the Sinai Peninsula? I didn't, but it doesn't surprise me. Could that action void the pardons if they found the kickbacks going to the Biden crime family? No. Pardon can't. No. You are not charging anyone in Biden's family. He has blanket immunity for everything. Is a person has the opinion of declining a pardon, do you think by accepting the presidential pardon that they are admitting guilt? In this day and age, the way legal lawfare works, Joanne says, great show. Thanks, Joanne. Appreciate you. The way that legal lawfare works now, or illegal lawfare, I would take a pardon in a New York minute. Why? Then nobody can weaponize it. I don't blame Biden for pardoning his family. I'd do the same fucking thing. If I committed crime and I was as guilty as he is, I would pardon my family too. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying he's got the right to do it. Do you see Trump saying he wants the RE minerals in Ukraine? Might have been AI. I thought you might have seen it. I didn't see it. What's the story about this sovereign fund Trump wants to set up? Do you know how it works? I read a little bit about it, but no, I don't. When will Cash and RFK Jr. be confirmed, or have they? Well, RFK got pushed through, and he made it out of committee today. I think the vote was 14-13. I think Pam Bondi just got confirmed. I think Tulsi Gabbard's vote was later today. I don't know if she made it out of committee. It was going to be a tight one. I think RFK gets through. It's going to be tight, very much like Pete Hegseth. I still think Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have the votes. Okay, Matt, question your favorite song. Love you, brother. Yeah, you can't do that to me. That's like a gut punch. That you can't do that. I can't pick one song. That's impossible. I can give you different genres, and I can give you something like that. But yeah, I can't pick a favorite song. I can tell you who my favorite bands are. I give my top 5. But music is a love of mine, and it depends. Is it classical? Is it rap? Is it country? Is it ska? Is it punk? Is it what is it? Because I have an amalgamation of bands that I absolutely love. But favorite song, like a song I would listen to every day for the rest of my life, I can't put because an album it puts the songs together. Most albums tell a story, and an individual song doesn't do it. Like you can't take Thick as a Brick and go, oh, well, I just want to listen to segment 2 of Thick as a Brick or the Chateau Disaster tapes and listen to Passion Play. And now I understand. Or I want to go ahead and listen to Run from The Wall. And now I understand The Wall. I want to listen to 2112 and I just want to listen to Symphony or, I want to do Zeppelin 1 and not listen to anything else. And so I believe that the anthology of a band is what makes their songs individually amazing based upon the story that they tell through the entire album. I know that's complicated, but that's it. Top 5. Not in any particular order. Jethro Tull. Def Leppard. Big Leppard fan. Huge Sarah McLachlan fan. Social Distortion's up there. Toad the Wet Sprocket and Social D because of personal reasons. I'm a huge Tchaikovsky fan. I love Tchaikovsky. I love Glenn Miller, Big Ballroom. As far as rap, that's not fair. But I'm all the way from Fab Five Freddy to Slick Rick to M. And it pretty much stops there. It kind of stops with M. Anyone after M, I'm eh. But grew up in NWA, grew up with the DOC, grew up with Third Base, Digital Underground. Country is, I love Chet Atkins. I'm a big fan of Wes Montgomery. I think he did some amazing stuff. I like Jerry Reed. Big fan of Toby Keith, like some older Garth Brooks, heavy metal and like just rock, big Dream Theater fan. I think they're one of the tightest bands ever. Best guitarist of all time, Eric Johnson. Hands down, the guy can play anything. And he's incredible. Al Di Meola is amazing. Joe Sach is good. Steve Vai is good. Jeff Beck. Stu Hamm on Geddy Lee and Les Claypool. Dude, you can't ask me my top 5. I will sit here all night. You can't do that. I know a lot about music. I'm a big music guy. Here are Ariana Presley calling Elon Musk a Nazi Nepo baby. I mean, seriously, you're kidding me.
Dismantle, pick apart, and sell the pieces of. All right. And I want to say, agitating. We will see you in the courts, in Congress, in the streets. Elon Musk is a Nazi Nepo baby. A godless, lawless billionaire who no one elected. Elon, this is the American people. This is not your trashy Cybertruck that you can just dismantle, pick apart, and sell the pieces of. All right. And I want to say...
Wow. Listen, this goes on and on and on. Maxine Waters gets up there, does her greatest hits. And then here is Jasmine Crockett with more. Listen, I hate to say it, but the liberals have become the party of racism. Listen to this shit.
Doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. That's what's happening.
Bitch. I'm not crying. You're crying. How do you know you've worked harder than me? I just have a question. How do you know you had to work harder than me for what you have? I'm interested. And before we do that, you guys are awful upset about unelected people who control the government, but you didn't give a shit about Bill Gates. You didn't care about Pfizer and Moderna. You didn't care about Dr. Fauci. Remember Dr. Fucky? How come you don't care about those people? But you give a shit about Elon. Why? Because he's trying to save abuse and overspending? What are you so afraid of? Why do you think the United States government needs to be involved in everyone's lives? Why do you think the states can't take care of themselves? And yes, you got to take care of natural disasters and emergencies and security issues. We understand that. The American taxpayer funds that through the federal government and its taxes. We understand. But why do you think that people are better with government in their lives? Why does this surprise you that Donald Trump's doing exactly what he said he was going to do? And you guys calling for the death of Elon Musk. Elon Musk getting death threats in the street. They want to imprison him. They're calling for his arrest. They're calling for him to be arrested and thrown in prison. People are calling him to be hung. This is perfect. Charles Downs made a video, and Charles is a little bit of an eccentric fellow, but I love this because this is so fucking true. This was a protest, if I'm not mistaken, that was designed to, I didn't watch the whole video. I watched like the first 20 seconds. I said I'm going to put it on the show. This was designed to be an anti-Palestine or anti-Israel occupation of freeing Palestine rally. And it turned into an Elon Musk, I hate you rally. Watch this. Folks, I got to say it. I hate to say it. We're at $153.30. We're $300 away from our goal. We have hit our goal for 10 months in a row. Every night since Facebook has taken us down from $15,000 a month is what we were making. Now we have to fend for ourselves, and the viewers help us out. We get a little bit from our good friends over at Wimpkin and some other advertising from other sites. But without you, we can't do it. I usually don't bring it up, but we are at that witching hour. It's almost 9 o'clock. If you felt like the show was good, if you're like, hey, you know what? I watch 2 hours of Netflix a month, but I give them $22 a month. Maybe if you watch 5 times a week, you watch that 2.5 hour show, 2 hour show, and you're like, well, that's 10 hours. That's 40 hours a month. Is it worth more than Netflix? If it is, maybe you can help out the Don't Unfriend Me show. We want to stick around. We want to stay free. We're not paid for by the RNC or the DNC or Fox News, or nobody gives us any money. We just get it right. We give you the truth. We give you an honest perspective. My wife and I run it along with our good friends Amy and Leroy, and we have a damn good show. Help us out. See if you can do it. And remember, it might only be $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, and you're like, that's not that big of a deal. They're not going to care. Yeah, we are, because this is what we need to continue to stream, put the lights on, and make this a job. So if you can help us out, we appreciate it. I asked 2 times a show, at the beginning, at the end, when we haven't hit it, and we haven't. And I got to ask that question. Watch this.
What's up, everyone? A bunch of deranged leftists are starting to gather outside the White House to arrest Netanyahu, Trump, and I guess Elon Musk now. They want to arrest everyone. This was supposed to be a Free Palestine protest, but, you know, since the left protest is a thing, they're mad at everything now. There's a lot of open border signs back here, too. So, Tian stopped the coup. So they should be making their way to the White House fence soon. So stay tuned. Today is going to be a crazy night.
So I love that comment. I love this guy. He reminds me of just kind of a strange Benny Johnson. I'm not trying to insult the guy. He just has that Marty Feldman look, you know. He just looks different, but good, smart guy. And says free Palestine protest, but has evolved to support the thing. Support the thing. It's so true, man. It's so true. Support the thing. It's so accurate, you know? It's like, here, you know, do you need these protest signs? And they're like, I brought my own. And they have a marker. Just like the movie PCU. It's kind of pathetic. It's kind of pathetic. All right, we're going to wrap it up. One more. Kevster, $10.80. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you, buddy, getting us that much closer. Thank you, buddy. Quick 15 seconds, and then we're going to bring it into the E-Block and take you home.
The Dumb Store is veteran-owned with a 5-star diamond rating for service and satisfaction. We offer quality products like coffee, shirts, hoodies, and hats, all made by veterans. Shop with confidence, backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews. Use code DUMB10 to save 10%. Visit thedumbshow.com today. Thank you for your support.
We got new coffee, 4547 over there, Donald Trump coffee. It's amazing. All veteran owned. It's brewed, and it's actually, excuse me, not brewed. It's roasted right before it ships out the door. He makes everything fresh. It is ridiculous. The freshest coffee you'll ever taste. This isn't Black Rifle where they make their coffee 30 days, 45 days in advance, and it sits in a bag. This is fresh, and it's made by a veteran in Wisconsin. He's a good friend of mine named Matt Hawley, and he sells all of our coffee. We have 5-star ratings on all of it, from dark to medium roast to a dark medium to a light to a breakfast blend to a holy shit, that's really strong, and Kami decaf. All very good stuff. Please trust me on this. Also, when it looks to our clothes and our clothing line, we have 5-star rated. Our hoodies are the shit. Our blankets, our t-shirts, everything else. People love our clothes. Go to thedumbshow.com. I guarantee there's something there for you or a loved one, and go and take a look. This lady is the one from Sex and the City who shouldn't have been on Sex and the City. Whenever that, you know, kind of romantic scene came on and she was on, you're like, can we fast forward this, honey? She's the redhead. Not that I'm, you know, saying anything bad about redheads. I just thought you'd want to know. Mel, our gay North Dakota squatter, 103.48. Thank you so much, Mel. We love you and we appreciate you. You're the best. Thank you, ma'am. But anyway, let's go ahead and break this down after we watch the video. I want you to listen to this. And I've done the math. And I just want to show you the whole theory where you can get this shirt on our show is Ask the Why. It's something we always focus on, asking the why. It's the how, the what, the who. It's all really window dressing. The why is one of the most important things that you can ask. So why? Why is she doing this? Why is she saying this? Why is she pushing this out? This is about transgenders. Listen to this. We are at 267.58. We are a little short of our goal, about $33. Here we go.
Most importantly, I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. Yeah. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans, and my kid's best friend is trans. My wife and I, our lives are filled.
Thank you, Darla. $10.80. God bless. Darla, you're the best. Thank you, guys. Those small donations, big, whatever, they all mean the great deal, so thank you. Listen to this.
With the most amazing, beautiful, brave, trans people, young and old, but especially young.
Yeah, we have Moab. The great thing about Moab is it's our dark blend, but we've got a dark medium, which is amazing. It's the 4547. It's our 6th brand of coffee. It just released. It's brand new. It's on the site. We've got plenty. Yeah, go for it. Knock yourself out.
My trans kid had his top surgery at NYU a number of years ago. His doctors were fantastic. His surgeon was the best we could have imagined. And the idea that the city is filled with young people who thought they had...
Amy Stancombe, good decisions have good consequences. Bad decisions have bad consequences. Stay sober. Dumb nation, your life depends on it. Love y'all. Abso-frickin-lutely. Cannot wait to tackle this fentanyl epidemic. Jason from Wimkin is doing amazing things. Go register on Wimkin. Stay in the loop. Folks, I don't need to go any further. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the why. Why do this? Well, it's to lie. That's why. It's not true. None of it's true. We know it's not true. Even the premise isn't true, but the math doesn't add up. And no matter how you slice it, dice it, no matter how much you want to go ahead and sexually mutilate children, or you want to go ahead and say a man is a woman and a woman is a man, the math doesn't work. So I'm going to take the emotional argument out of it. I'm just going to prove you why this lady is completely full of shit. As a Christmas goose. Or as my dad used to say, nervous as a whore in church. Sex in the City lady. The odds, and her statement is that every child she knows is trans. That's what she said. So let's just estimate the probability. I did the math. Little high-end math here. Estimating the probability, and it suggests that 1.4 to 2% of U.S. youth identify as transgender now, which is a fucking travesty, considering it was like 0.06, 0.07 5 years ago. So it's trendy to be transgender. It's trendy to change yourself permanently in America today. So for this calculation, you would use a 1.5% as a 0.015% probability of becoming trans. So to have a trans child, it is a 0.015% probability. So if someone claims that there are kids who are transgender, their sister kids are transgender, and every kid they know is transgender, let's assume that a conservative sample of 10 children in their lives is in total. Just 10. It could be 20, it could be 30, it could be 40, 50. That just makes it worse. But let's just assume 10. I know 10 kids, and they're all trans. The probability of each child independently being transgender is 0.015. That's autonomous. Just their chance. But the probability of all 10 children that she knows being transgender would be P equals 0.15 over 10. P equals times 0.15 over 10. And to calculate that, the probability of all children being transgender that she knows, assuming an independent probability of 1.5% per child, is approximately 5.77 times 10 to the 19th fucking power. Go dummies, Glenn says. 2110. Thanks, Glenn. Let me say it again. 5.77 times 10 to the 19th fucking power. That independent probability is approximately 0.0000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000 The odds of this happening naturally are so astronomically insane that you would have a better probability of winning the lottery 10,000 times than her knowing all kids being transgender. That is how you shut somebody up. 304.48 on donations. You guys never let me down. You always make it happen. We can't thank you enough and appreciate it. I want to make sure we got everybody and everybody's in. I don't think we did, so I'm going to wait. I'm looking. We'll let Olivia try to catch up. So when we look at this whole transgender argument, and people like Megan Fox say, 2 or 3 of my kids are transgender, the probability of that is ridiculous without human influence. And if the only probability and the only common denominator in that equation, it's Megan Fox. Catherine says, moo money from Kat. Thank you, Kat. You're the best. $10.80. Thank you, ma'am. So the only consistent in this probability is Megan Fox. And the human element demonstrates that human beings can't change anyone's mind. There's no such capability. You can brainwash and intimidate and threaten and cajole and, cause trauma. But the change has to... Oh, wow. Frank, thank you, buddy. Got to push you through tonight, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Frank Wood. $51.99. I love you guys. I appreciate you. So the point is this, is that when they say, well, wait a second, there's no chemical composition that makes us this, because that's sex, and sex is binary, right? Male and female. They admit this. They say this. They say it's gender, which is fluid, because it is a construct. So if it's a construct, there's no physical properties that make you what gender you are, that it's simply based upon your choice, then it is a mental issue. If you believe, and I think everyone would agree, that you're an F-150 truck, you have mental issue. If you believe that you are the Red Baron's third plane and can fly off the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, if you think you can jump into a volcano and be released into Deepu, the Diametics Cabal UFO space god, whatever the hell that thing is, flippity dippity, you've got a mental problem. Whenever you believe that you have communique with God and he talks to you and you talk back, and you actually, not in prayer, not in a divine inspiration, come on, but if you're like, oh, I talked to God this morning and he said this, you've got some problems. If you believe that you have a dick and you're a woman, you also have some problems. So what you're saying is that not only is it not a choice, which we say lesbianism, gay, queer is a choice, and there is no, or it's not a choice. It's you're born this way. Which I have talked to thousands of homosexuals and lesbians who are friends of mine. I worked at Apple, for God's sakes, and pretty much every one of them will tell you it's a little of both. I always kind of felt off. I wasn't attracted to boys. I wasn't attracted to girls. But honestly, a lot of it was choice too, because I know that when I did fool around in college, that I didn't have that same when I became an adult and I met a man. So, and I know other people who literally were with a woman their whole lives and then became gay at 50. Well, that doesn't mean it's a choice, or it means it's a choice. There's choice involved. But when it comes to transgenderism and all this other shit, and I'm a rainbow unicorn and a bunny rabbit, and I go into a litter box, that is most assuredly a mental illness, and it's an issue with your brain. And you're right, it is a choice. So when we sit here and somebody comes out and tries to normalize it and say, everyone I know is trans, you're lying. You're lying. And if you have to lie to sell your point, then your point is invalid. And if you're trying to get us to conform and embrace that transgenderism is not an abnormality, but an actual reality in nature, then if you have to prove it by lying, well, then it's not a very good ideology. It's not based in science. It's based on your emotions. It's based upon your brain, and that's that. Did we get everybody on donations? Let me know. Let me know if we got everybody. I want to make sure we didn't miss somebody. Hey, Liv. I got to check with Liv. Hold on one second. Hold on, everybody. We're going to zip it. Did we get everybody? I thought there were 2 100s. Hold on. I saw a Rumble. Did you get the Rumble? I don't want to miss anybody. We got a Rumble rant. What is today? The what? We got a Rumble rant, and it's from. Oh, I can't see who it is. Whoever. 15. I just said it. 1504. Whoever gave the Rumble rant on the 3rd, guys, we don't see the Rumble rant, so we appreciate you. We had 3850 on the 3rd, and then 1540 tonight. Okay, it may have been Debbie again. If it's Debbie, we love you and we appreciate you. We miss you, not because we just don't get Rumble rants. It's a back end email. Hold on, there were some others. Okay. I want to make sure we get this right. Okay, Amy did 5. You got that? Joanne got 20. You did that. John. What? Ashley. I don't know where they all went. Did you read all these? Do me a favor. Go back. Take 2 minutes. Go back real quick. Check PayPal. Check right around with Mel, because I thought Mel gave some too. And then I thought right after that somebody else did. Go check for me, please. All right, we're gonna go make sure we're good. I'm not gonna not say thank you to everybody. $20 from Debbie on Rumble. Thank you, Debbie. Hey, if you guys see Rumble, someone give a Rumble chat, let me know and we'll put it up here, because they deserve it too. But I just don't have access to Rumble until they add it to this program. But I want to make sure we got everybody, because I thought I saw some others. So if anyone, either way, we appreciate you. You should see the streaming of USAID spending on Matt's not favorite person show, Hannity, mind-blowing. It's not that I don't like Hannity. I just think he regurgitates his news, and he doesn't mix it up enough. You know, I like Sean. I like Sean on his radio. I just don't like I think he interrupts people a lot, and so do I, but he does it like a dick. Like, he just doesn't want to listen to people, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh. Folks, if you can't donate, it's okay. It's a 100% free show. We appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. That helps out more than anything. It keeps us going, keeps us moving forward. Tomorrow, Olivia will be on, Olivia and I, with Amy. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to have all three of us on. If you have not had a chance, stop by The Dumb Show at thedumbshow.com. Olivia is finishing up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have. Sorry, guys. I'm not out of anything. I've got plenty of stuff to talk about, but I haven't. Yeah, maybe I am out of stuff tonight. I thought I had more stuff. Donald Trump with what he said with Iran. This is good. You got to watch this. Liv's going to check real quick. Here it is. So if it's Iran. So Peter Doocy basically said, if Iran takes you out and assassinates you, what are you going to do? Listen to this.
Why is Iran happy to sign it if it's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani?
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do, not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran. So I'm signing this, and it's a very powerful.
You guys, I told you that. You heard it here first, because I told you that shit. Oh, I don't know. Like when all the assassination stuff happened, I told you guys that. Okay, if anyone tries to assassinate Donald Trump, we will use a nuke. I'm just letting you know. It will. It is in the world community. This is absolutely a complete speakeasy kind of thing. If any country assassinates our president, we find out with incontrovertible evidence, they will get a nuke on all of their capital, to get on their capital and all of their major command and control cities. We will destroy them. It's just not something you do. You don't screw around Donald Trump. And he just told the world and the community, hey, you're on notice. You try to come at me, you're toast. Pam Bondi confirmed RFK is out of the committee. His vote, I think, is tomorrow. Tulsi Gabbard. Let's find out if Tulsi, and then I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you alone. Tulsi Gabbard confirmed. Let's see. Senate committee got her. She's through Senate committee. They'll both get passed. Republicans are rallying around the leader right now. So I think you get Tulsi Gabbard and you get RFK. That Trump, everybody Trump picked is going to go. And this is hilarious. They did whatever they could, and he's going to get everyone qualled. Everybody. Good. I don't love Tulsi Gabbard, but I don't give a shit. At this point, anything that pisses off liberals is good enough for me. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Inform Me Show. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Leroy booked his ticket. He'll be here Friday. We'll have a show on Friday. He will be in-house. He'll be sitting right here, and we'll be doing a show, which we're really excited about, and that's going to be in March. Getting our photographs done by a high-end photographer who shot Tucker Carlson and Judge Jeanine and Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump, and he's a massive, huge portrait photographer. He's going to be doing our shots in Virginia, and we're all going and getting dressed up and then wearing some T-shirts and hats and getting some new photos for the show, and we're going to be going ahead and doing that. We're excited. We got a lot coming up. Damani's coming back on soon. We'll get Ryan Samuels on. We're trying to get Kat Kamek on. So everything is really good. Things are moving forward, and it has a lot to do with you. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Remember, me, Amy, Olivia, be here or be square. God bless. See you then.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the
I'm letting you know Karen Cash is going to get confirmed almost 100%. That's the one that might be tomorrow. He's getting confirmed. There's no chance he's not. He crushed it.
And election coverage coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.